Hey, good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Y'all know who this is. This your boy, Rob Thomas Jr., and this is the real news behind the news. Oh, yeah, man, today is a cold Sunday here in Shreveport, Louisiana, January 18th, 2026. And y'all gotta forgive me a little bit. I'm kind of still feeling under the weather, man. I've been suffering from a real bad respiratory infection, chest infection. But I'm gonna be real brief in this video anyway. So y'all hang on to your hats, boys and girls. We're gonna talk real briefly about the creation, the real reason ICE is being created, and what the real ultimate goal is. Now y'all know me. I don't sit around and wait for people to come in. If you all happen to catch this video while it's going, that's good. And if not, y'all go back and look at it after I finish. If you are watching it, if you do come in, please hit that like button and share this video while it's going live so other people can join in, because y'all know this channel here is not a favorite of the algorithm of social media. So my channel gets pushed all the way down to the bottom of the algorithm because of the subject that I talk about. It's particular this subject here. Now, I'm finna just get right up into it. ICE is really the same. It's the equivalent of the Hitler brown shirts. ICE is really not about immigration. This is what it's been shown to you all to be created for. But no, if ICE was all about immigration, why are they brutalizing the shit out of American citizens? No, ICE is eventually going to be used as a tool to crack down on any dissent against your government. Literally. I mean, Republicans are rejoicing right now. We're rejoicing when Trump first created this, talking about immigration needs to be controlled. Come on, man. If a Republican, let me ask you a question, because I respectfully, I'm going to say this to my brother Terrence Henry. Again, you were sitting here talking about the Biden administration and his lapse of immigration enforcement, and I do believe that there needs to be control at the border and limits on immigration, because when these people come here, we as black people in particular are being placed further and further down the economic and social status here in America. Because when these people come here, where do they give them most of their businesses and jobs? Where do they get most of their revenue from? From our community. So we have to understand that there does need to be limit to how many people can come here legally, and legal action taken against those who are coming here illegally. But you also have to first ask the question, why are these people coming here in the numbers that they're coming here in the first place? It's because we have created so much destabilization and chaos in their home countries through wars, economic sanctions, and all that they fleeing from their home countries, because they're seeing their home country just being turned to a shithole, like Donald Trump said in his first presidency. But the reason why their countries are doing so bad is because we are meddling in their country, in their elections, in their politics, in the finance and business sector of their country. We're destabilizing all these countries, and these people are fleeing from the poverty and chaos that we, the United States, are responsible for creating in their countries. See what I'm saying? It's like we here in America now, especially Republicans, are championing Trump's immigration so-called crackdown, but not realizing that part of the majority of those people and it's only like 500 some thousand. Think about it. As thus far, he only they only arrested like 500 some thousand people. But guess where most of these people sit before they are deported? Most times not to their own home country. They sit in private prison systems or detention centers. Really, it's a way of Trump giving his buddies in the prison industrial complex a whole new group of revenue, a whole new source of revenue. Yeah, the private detention or the private prison industrial complex is benefiting heavily from these ICE raids and arrests, because most of these people sit for 5 or 6 months in detention before they're actually either removed from this country or put back on the streets of this country. A lot of people that they are picking up are American citizens who have went through the immigration process or whatever. So you all have to realize that this shit is about money. This shit ain't got nothing to do with Trump wanting to really enforce our nation's borders. Strengthen our nation's borders. No, Trump has partners, political donors who gave him money for his campaign in order to create this group of Nazi-like brown shirts. They're the equivalent of Hitler's brown shirts. Now let's fast forward, because I don't want to take too long. To Americans, they're going to eventually be used to quash any dissent that we have as we go further along with these wars that Donald Trump is starting. You Republicans really need to feel bad as hell, because he lied to all of us, but in particular, you all, his followers, that he was going to be the president of peace. Since this man has gotten into this office, y'all seen the change in his demeanor, his attitude, his whole persona. Everything about him has changed to the point now this man went and violated international law, violated the sovereignty of a whole country, Venezuela, kidnapped that president of that country. And you all supporting this shit. None of y'all have done any research about the history of Venezuela or none of that shit. And you all are championing this, talking about it was all about, wait a minute, y'all know what you're talking about, because at first he said it was all about drugs. Didn't he? Didn't he tell y'all it was about drugs? Now he finally came out and told you it was about the oil. You all should feel real bad, you Trump supporters, because he told you he was going to release the Epstein file. You know why he wanted to release the Epstein file? Or because, first of all, he didn't know how fucking deep he was in those papers. Yeah, he thought he was going to try to use that to maneuver and get leverage on his political appointment and hopefully get some kind of situation started with the Clintons. But now that he's found out that he's like in 1/3 of the Epstein files, yeah, which means he can't do shit for us in America because he's being controlled by Israel. How many times did I got to say this? Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. He worked as a spy for Israel. His job was to get, damning, compromising information on all your politicians, Republicans and Democrats. That way, Israel can control them. So you Republicans need to get off this high horse bullshit and realize that Trump does not work for you. He works for the Israelis. Benjamin Netanyahu really runs this country. He controls Donald Trump. Donald Trump is so heavily implicated in those Epstein files. Did y'all see the one email that came out? Now, this actually came out, look it up, in the Epstein files, was one of Jeffrey Epstein's partners after a weekend of partying down on pedo PDF Island. I'm going to just say it like that so I won't get in trouble by violating community standards. They were down there on PDF Island, and the next week, the dude came back in and sent Jeffrey Epstein an email and asked a question. But he basically what he said, well, man, that was a wild weekend, wasn't it? Epstein replied and said, yes, it was. And your boy said, is it true that the word is that Trump went down on Bill Clinton and performed fellatio? Oh, y'all don't want to hear that shit, do it? They ain't tell you about that in the mainstream media. You got to go back and research this. See, that's the problem here in America. We just look at the lies that we're being told on the mainstream media. We don't do no research. Ain't nobody that sit up here, especially on Facebook, that's part of my friends and community. Ain't nobody really probably ever and looked at any of those files. The ones that were released before they released that big old trove that was heavily redacted. None of y'all went and looked at that shit. Yeah, that man asked Jeffrey Epstein the question. To you Trump supporters, yeah, he asked the question, did Trump go down and perform fellatio on Bill Clinton? Yeah, Trump is heavily implicated in those files. One of the main reasons why he went to Venezuela is for Israel. Because Israel did not like the fact that majority of those countries in South America are anti-Zionist and pro-Palestinian. Y'all wouldn't know this in America because you're too busy watching your favorite motherfucking news channel, which is nothing but more than a mouthpiece for the oligarchy, the corporation. Neither one of your parties in this country represents us. They represent the corporation, and most importantly, they are controlled. Any one of your politicians that takes money from AIPAC does not represent you. He cannot. So what Trump is going to use ICE for, and the bigger picture, is when he implements the Insurrection Act. Now, I said this almost 4 or 5 months ago. I hate to be right. But Trump is going to try to declare martial law, suspend your Constitution, and remain president indefinitely. Don't it sound crazy? But do y'all realize under the Insurrection Act, he can suspend the Constitution. He can federalize the police. Yeah. And guess what? Look, even in your mainstream media, they telling you this. He just said this shit himself over the weekend. He's thinking about declaring the Insurrection Act as far as those protesters up there in Minnesota, where ICE, who's supposed to be for immigration, shot that American citizen in her fucking face 3 times. They're running around this country, brutalizing the shit out of people. They're being prepared. And guess what? ICE is not a real, law enforcement agency that has some real law enforcement training. Now, they getting niggas who part of backyard wrestling. They getting white boys out the Proud Boys. A lot of these white nationalist groups are becoming ICE agents. People who don't give a damn about people of color, immigrants, and are willing to brutalize them. And guess what? They are facing no consequences. To you white people who think it's all about immigration, was that lady who got shot up there in Minnesota, was she an immigrant? Black people, they just killed a black man about 2 days ago. They are being allowed to terrorize and brutalize Americans in preparation for the crackdown when it comes to getting ready to take away your freedom of speech, your freedom to protest. All that shit is going to go out the window. And it's not just Trump. Trump is just a puppet. Hey, Bookie, what's going on? I don't know where they killed a black dude. I just heard about that recently. You know, I've been sick over the last few days. But I'm getting my information up. I'm talking about how ICE is going to be used as a federal police force who are unaccountable to any law enforcement agency, and they're going to be used against the American citizen. Let me ask y'all another question that I bet you didn't know. Who is the ones that's training ICE? What group is training ICE right now? Who are actually walking alongside of ICE? What group? The Israeli Defense Force. Remember how I always told y'all, you have to understand what's going on across that water before you understand what's going on in America? ICE is being trained in the same tactics that the Israeli Defense Force uses against the Palestinians, uses against the people that they control in Lebanon. That the Israeli Defense Force right now trains 3/4 of your police departments and sheriff departments in America. This is where they get the training from. Your sheriff departments in America every year send groups of their officers over to Israel to learn the latest tactics of oppression and suppression and crowd control from the Israelis, and then they bring that shit back here and implement it on us here in America. You can say I'm crazy if you want to, but you crazy as fuck if you don't go and research what I'm saying, because everything I'm saying, I told you years ago, and you're seeing it happen right now. That's why I hate to say I told you so, but I have to. Because right now, too many people in America are watching the NFL playoffs, watching basketball. Nobody is researching how ICE just killed a Negro. How up there in Minnesota, they have unleashed full suppression attack and oppression tactics on them protesters up there in Minnesota. It's all designed to crack down on any dissent against your government for the illegal acts that they are creating and committing here and abroad. And you Republicans, again, you all still supporting this man who is literally making himself a dictator, who is literally acting totally, outside of any form of law here, national, United States law and international law. This man, how y'all gonna support and justify him talking about taking over Greenland, possibly by force? How y'all gonna respond when he sends your sons over there and daughters to have to fight them Iranians and get slaughtered? And guess what? He had to back down. This weekend, they was actually going to strike Iran Thursday of the week just passed. Y'all didn't know that, did it? But he had somebody whispered in his ear and say, man, don't do that shit, bro. We are not ready. Do you remember what Iran did to us and Israel last June? In 12 days, Iran stomped the shit out of Israel. You don't hear it like that in America. Israel, they did a lot of destruction in Iran. No, they did not. Iran was destroying the fuck out of Israel to the point the Israeli prime minister and the real president of the United States had to beg Trump to get Iran to agree to a ceasefire. Iran was finna annihilate Israel. Y'all don't hear about it like that in America. You know why? Because 90% of your news in America is controlled by Israel. Israel controls Donald Trump, you Republicans. He controls the Democratic Party. Israel controls your government through bribery and blackmail. And one of the main reasons why they're able to control your politician is because of them Epstein files that Trump lied to you Republicans. He lied to you Democrats. He lied to the whole American public that he was going to release those Epstein. The man, if Trump wanted to, day one, he could have had all those files released. we'd have known what politicians were pedophiles, child molesters. But you know why he can't? Because he's deep off into the Epstein file. So now he has no choice but to do what the Israelis tell him to do. And now he has to create a force that's loyal and controlled by nobody, loyal to and controlled by nobody but him, so that he can continue to implement the Israeli agenda for the United States. Boy, y'all don't understand it. Y'all, even though I'm telling y'all this, I've been telling y'all this for years, y'all still ain't gonna never understand. You still won't understand. Because we are too caught up in tribalism here in America. You Democrats hate the Republicans, Republicans hate the Democrats, and both parties don't give a fuck about neither one of y'all. None of y'all. None of us. Because they are controlled by the corporations, but most importantly, by Israel. So now, there you're going to see ICE deep in the streets, anywhere you see any civil protest. Do y'all know, when I tell y'all what happens overseas going to eventually come to America, do you all know right now over in Europe, pretty much like France, Britain, the United Kingdom, anywhere in the UK, you cannot even go to a protest and have a sign, you know what I'm saying? A sign saying anything about Israel or you're going to jail. That shit's coming to America too. Do you realize college students right now cannot say anything about the genocide and Holocaust going on against the Palestinians that you Republicans, your president is helping to perpetuate? Your president, y'all beloved Donald Trump, is part of the genocide, the Holocaust, the slaughter of those Palestinians. You all are supporting the man, and you Negro Republicans got to be ashamed of your goddamn self. You all are supporting an imperialist colonizer who if he'd have been alive 400 years ago, he'd have been the first one off the boat to slaughter them goddamn Indians that was already here. This is what he's doing. Can y'all understand that? You Negro Republicans really need to be ashamed of your goddamn self. If you still support this man who is showing the world that he's the racist ancestor of those people who came over here on boats. Did he just say last week about Greenland, just because your ancestors landed somewhere on a boat, that don't make your country? This came out of his motherfucking mouth. Just because your ancestors landed somewhere in another plane and got off the boat and claimed it, don't make this. Well, you should be telling that to every white racist American here. How the fuck is this your country when you slaughtered the people who was originally here? And you all supporting a man who still has that mentality of the colonizers. Those who supported genocide and the Holocaust of the American natives that was already here. This is who y'all really supporting. This is why I don't take you fucking serious at all. I don't take y'all serious. Anybody that stands up for their Democratic Party or that stands up for their Republican Party, both of you all groups are stupid as fuck, because neither one of those parties gives a damn about why is Trump finna demand a $1.5 trillion military budget when the majority of us are finna face not being able to pay our health care bills here in America. Housing prices are rising. Food is rising. Every day, every week, we're facing more and more calamity in America, but he wants another $500 billion to build more weapons. What is he building weapons for? What are you building weapons for? It ain't protection. It's aggression. Come on, man. ICE is being used to eventually shut people like me up for telling you all this. But guarantee you, this gonna go over a lot of y'all head. And then in another 4 or 5 months, y'all gonna be asking me, Robert told me, what you think finna happen next? And guess what? I'm not gonna even answer. I'm finna. All I can do right now is what the Creator, the Most High God, has called me to do. I'm not finna say I'm a prophet, but yeah, He has put me in that office. A lot of y'all went to church today and said, y'all pastor's a man of God. Do y'all realize y'all pastor, if he ain't saying nothing in that pulpit about what Trump is doing, allowing Israel to do to the Palestinians, that ain't no man of God. If he's telling you that God would bless those who bless Israel, that man is of the Antichrist. He is of the devil. Yes. Any pastor that agrees with Israel and what they're doing right now is not of God. Because those are not the real Jews over there. Those are Zionist imposters, which Revelation calls those who call themselves Jews, but are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. This is why he's creating I.C.E, to shut people like me down that's telling you this. To shut people who are protesting that lady who got shot in the face 3 fucking times by I.C.E. To shut that protest down. When they take away your free speech and you try to get out there and exercise your free speech and I.C.E. shoot. Do y'all realize it gotten so bad that a federal judge had to come and tell I.C.E. that they can't use motherfucking tear gas no more? Do y'all realize the use of tear gas is against the Geneva Convention because it's a chemical weapon? Yeah. Do you realize these folks are walking around with their face covered up, which is against the law? You have the right to know the identity of any officer, local, state, or federal. Now, ICE are not literally trained professionals. Again, ICE is made up of some niggas that stay at a trailer park up there off Pines Road, who always wanted to be a police officer, 30 pounds overweight, got heart condition. They just signed the application. And one of the main questions on the application, do you hate niggas and immigrants? No, I'm just joking about that. But that's basically what it is. But you know, I ain't gonna hold y'all up. Y'all leave comments in here. Share this video. Whether you like it or not, engage me through conversation. But yeah, that's the real purpose ICE is being created. It is finna be used as a federal police force, unaccountable to any federal agent who only takes orders from Trump. Their whole mission is to not fucking crack down on immigration. Yeah, they want to get a lot of immigrants off, but so far they only got, 500,000 immigrants? You know what I'm saying? And half of those people are still in detention centers owned by Trump's friends and partners. Do y'all realize how much money Donald Trump has made since he's been in office? He made almost another $2 billion since he's been in office. And a lot of that is through his illegal business dealings. He done enriched so many of his partners in just the last year, man. Everything Trump is doing right now is to benefit the corporation. ICE job is to get as many people, whether they are actual immigrant or even dark-skinned Americans who just happen to be walking down the street. And first thing ICE asks you is, do you have your papers? What is that? That sounds familiar. Where else did we hear that in history when motherfuckers had asked the people, do they have their papers? Oh, Nazi fucking Germany. Yeah, that's what happened at. That's where they get the premises for ICE. You are being held captive. This nation is already occupied, an occupied nation. And the occupier really is Israel, who holds all your politicians here under blackmail conditions, because they have even taken money from the Israeli lobby or they're implicated in the Epstein file. This is why Trump is now fighting after he made that promise. Told y'all, he made a lot of promises and broke them all. And again, this is why you Republicans really need to take your fucking brain out your head if you still support this man. He broke every promise he made to y'all. He was going to be the president of peace. He was going to stop endless wars. Right now, he's trying to create a war with Venezuela. He's bombing the shit out of Somalia, Nigeria, 3 countries in Africa. Y'all didn't know this. He's been bombing them since he got into office. They don't tell you about this on American media. He's literally talking about going over, taking the country of Greenland by force. He's telling every country in South America that they are next. He's coming to their country to take over their. Do y'all realize if you still supporting Trump, you are part of the problem? Hey, y'all share these videos, man. Y'all stay tuned. I'll come back tomorrow with another. Y'all leave y'all comment and ask questions. What would y'all like my opinion on? Because again, although it's my opinion, they're based off facts. And how come it is that every opinion that I gave y'all over the last, 10, 15 years since I've been doing this, has turned out to be truth? A lot of people don't like the fact that they hate the way I cuss and all this. True, I could say a lot of things a little bit more diplomatic and be a lot more cordial and respectful, but fuck that. I'm keeping it real because this the real news behind the news.